Saturday, it's the college football showdown of the season. Will Heisman hopeful Hendon Hooker and Tennessee take down another huge rival when they take on the defending national champion, the Georgia Vols Dawg? Touchdown! Saturday, only on CBS and Paramount Plus.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Vols Dawg, the very first show. I'm Drew. This is Tyler with me here. And again, like I said, this is our very first show. We've been talking about doing this for a while. And,
long time.
Yes, it has been. It's finally here. Yeah. And it's finally here and at a good time. We're 8-0 heading into Georgia. And we'll get into that Georgia game here in just a little bit. But we're going to recap the Kentucky game. I'll let Tyler kick that off since he was there. Kind of jealous, but
Hey, it was awesome. Anytime you get to go to Neyland at night, the atmosphere is unmatched. Eric Ainge said it best: playing between the hedges is a joke compared to playing in Neyland Stadium. No skin off our back. But we started today on top of G17, tailgating, throwing a little cornhole, having a little bit of fun with friends, and worked our way over to the stadium and got to see the all black uniforms. That was pretty awesome. First time ever. Anytime you get to be a part of something like that, it's always fun. But Neyland at night is just something that is not matched anywhere else in the country. I don't care what they say. I don't care about Ole Miss and the stuff that they do, the hotty toddy, whatever. It doesn't matter. Virginia Tech can crank Metallica or whoever it is all they want to. It doesn't compare to what goes on in Knoxville, Tennessee on the river. The place was rocking. They slowed down Rocky Top during the pregame light show, the Nightmare at Neyland version. The crowd went nuts. It was just from start to finish, that place was electric. Kentucky fans were pissed off all night, which made it even funnier because they were a little mouthy before the game started, really thought they had something for us. And it was maybe halfway through the first quarter, they sat down, they shut up, and we kept rocking. But the big surprise to me was, one, how well we ran the ball. Because when you think about us, you think about how well Hendon and Hyatt, which is not our best receiver, by the way, Cedric Tillman is. He's just been gone, so everybody's kind of forgot about him because of a game that Hyatt had against Alabama. That's just my opinion. You know, I'm talking about skill set, not burning. Hey, Hyatt is unbelievable. I think we've got probably one of the best receiving corps ever assembled in college football. Ridiculous. It's pretty reminiscent of what they had at Alabama a few years ago, which is also one of the best receiving corps, I would say, that was ever assembled. They were unbelievable as well. But how well we ran the ball kind of blew my mind. You know, to be honest with you, Wright is good. He is really good. Small was definitely the man last year. I thought that he was head and shoulders better than Wright at the beginning of the year, but, you know, he put on a little bit of weight. He lost a little bit of that fluidity that he had last year. He's not quite as smooth as he was, but he's consistent. You know, he's good for a couple yards pop every single time. He's not going to turn the ball over. And what does Wright have a problem with? He's explosive. He can make the big play.
He did have trouble with that a few times early on, but it seems like he's got it together, and he's been right there when we needed him.
Yeah, he does. He looks great. It makes me a little bit nervous just because I don't like the turnover bug, but I'm pretty sure that we're number one in the country when it comes to turnover efficiency too, because Hendon just does not turn the ball over. And I think our defense has 16 takeaways. So I think we're like plus 14 or something like that. I can't remember what the exact stat is. But honestly, though, I think the biggest surprise of the night was that defense and what they did to the number one draft pick, Will Levis. He didn't look like a number one draft pick. He looked like a peewee football quarterback that had never played in a game in his life. They had him running for his life, and I think that Jalen McCullough coming back, the way that he played safety was unbelievable. Slaughter at corner was awesome, and I think he's played pretty much every single position defensive back this year, and he's played at a pretty high level. So I mean, That was pretty awesome to see. But our defensive line, dude.
Yeah, they controlled the line of scrimmage all night. Both lines, offensive line and defensive line, controlled the line of scrimmage all night.
And I knew that the D line would be good. I was worried about our offensive line. If I'm being fully honest, the first 2 weeks of the year, I didn't know how good we really were. And I know that sounds crazy because Ball State was Ball State and it was at hand, but the game was in hand easily. But it's just one of those things that when you watch somebody play, hey, we should be doing this. We're not doing it. I understand we look like we're doing really good, but it is Ball State. And then we go out and we play Pitt, and we don't really look good. And that was our first real ball game. And, the most improvement comes between week 1 and week 2. And technically, I think it was the game following Pitt that we finally started to show up. Hendon started hitting his stride. I think the offense started clicking, defense started clicking. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, I'm with you on the defensive side of the ball in the Kentucky game. It was just like a light came on, and it was just like they were all over the field. They were swarming.
Yeah.
Will Levis running for his life, like you said, and man, that defense they were smacking people.
Oh, absolutely, and that was they play with a tenacity that I've not seen in a really long time. I mean, it's been a long, long time since we played defense like that. And you got to give a lot of credit to Banks. He's another guy that I wasn't a huge fan of initially. I think that we've seen so much growth in him from last year to this year. It's unbelievable. But Ole Miss game, I was ready to fire him last year. I sat up there in the stands when the mustard bottles went flying by and stuff like that. It was a great game to be at. I hated the way that it turned out, obviously, but a lot of that I felt like was his fault. We had linebackers. Their first step was straight back. They were worried about the pass, but you had a quarterback that was, dropping back, taking off running. What did he run for? 200 yards. How do you not make an adjustment to stop that? With that being said, this year he adjusts to everything. And I really believe he's one of the top coordinators in college football right now. I really hope that nobody comes in and tries to steal him from us. So, Mr. Haslam, if you're listening, pay that man. Pay them all.
Pay the whole staff. We don't want them to go anywhere.
Absolutely. But
yeah, that like I said, it was amazing to see just how it's kind of like it's almost like they kept hearing this, oh, we're ranked this much in passing and we can't do this, we can't do that. And everybody talks about the offense so much. And it was finally like, you know what? We're here too. We're defense. Yeah. We can play too.
Absolutely. One of the things that sorry, I dropped one of the things that I've tried to explain to people, which Drew, this growing up, I've always been a defensive guy, playing, coaching. It didn't matter. Defense was my baby. So one of the arguments that I've made for UT, everybody talks about how porous their pass defense is. Well, part of that is when you get out to a big lead on somebody, they can't run the ball. They don't run the ball up the middle. They don't throw little short intermittent passes. They're trying to drop bombs. So what they're doing is they're throwing up prayers over and over and over, and they're hitting for 350 yards a game. But it's because what happens in a tight ball?
Garbage time.
Exactly. And that's what they're trying to do. They're throwing, trying to get back in the game, trying to make something happen. You're going to give up big plays unless everything is happening perfect. A couple things go different. Ramel Keaton, I'm kind of calling you out here, but if Ramel Keaton doesn't stop running against Alabama, it's 42-10 at the half instead of 28-20, and you let Bama back in it. Okay, now Bama's a different beast than some of these other teams. Obviously, I'm not knocking Bama. Bama's still deeper than we are. Their roster is better top to bottom than ours is, just like Georgia's is. But scheme. We're creating mismatches. We're using that stuff to our advantage. But our defense, they're also on the field like 36 minutes a game. We were ranked before the Kentucky game, like number 120 in the country, or 124 or something like that in total defense. But we were ranked dead last in the NCAA in time of possession, which means our defense is on the field far more than anybody else is. But nobody wants to talk about that side of it. They don't want to talk about the side of it that we're the number 10 scoring defense in the red zone. They don't want to talk about we were the number 10 rush defense in the country now. Granted, people are not running the ball against us much, but if you look at that metric, yards per carry, we're not giving up anything. We're 36th in yards per play. And again, that's with people trying to make big plays happen, run trick plays, do whatever they can to try to keep up with us. We're 18th in the country in third down percentage at 30%. I think Bama's like number 8 and I think it was 31% or no, 29% or something like that.
I saw a stat the other day. Bama's only given up 15 touchdowns the entire season. 7 of them was to us.
7 of them were to us. I mean, dude, it's crazy. We've got 21 sacks in 8 ball games. I mean, that's 2.5 sacks a game. I don't really know how much with the schedule that we've played. We've not played UTC, UT Martin, Western Kentucky every week like a lot of these teams have. We haven't played Ohio State's schedule with garbage Nebraska, garbage Iowa. Well, that's not who we're playing. We've played really good football teams, and we're putting up numbers like this. So, I mean, I think it's all kind of skewed. They're a whole lot better. We're 9th in rushing defense, by the way. And we give up 2.9 yards a carry. Yeah. So, I mean, technically that's 4th and 1 every time if they try to run all the time.
The Georgia game, that's our 6th ranked opponent that we've played. Nobody else in the country's done that.
Correct. I think the only team that Florida's no longer ranked, and I don't think Pitt's ranked now, are they? Did they finally fall off?
I think they fell out. But at the time of every game, it'll be our 6th ranked opponent that we played at the time of playing them.
Right.
Granted, some of them fell out now, but we just put who's out there. So
we kind of messed up Pitt when we murdered Slovis or whatever his name was. I mean, but we beat that guy to death, just further proving that our defense is legit. I think the only team that we played that was ranked that really probably didn't deserve to be was Florida, and that was because they beat Utah in the overranked Pac 400 or whatever it is over there. Nobody cares, but I didn't even know they played football over there anymore. But they made a big deal out of Florida beating them, and I think Georgia played Oregon and beat them like 55-0 or 52.
I think it was it 49-3 or something like that?
Yeah, it was something stupid. But the point is that it's garbage. It's garbage football. It doesn't matter. I want to hear the crap about it. Only if you look at them in bowl season, well, anybody can play one game a year. Like, I mean, that's all they do is stretch their legs over there. Useless. But anyway.
Yeah, it's like I was telling you when we were talking the other day about, I heard somebody at work and they were talking about nothing like Big Ten football. And I'm like, and I couldn't help myself. I had to intervene. And I said, yeah, if you like being mediocre and finishing second every year.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's just.
I mean, and it's not even a Tennessee thing. It's a SEC thing. Like, it's just proven. The SEC is here, and everybody else is here.
I think traditionally, I think that the Big Ten's a lot better than. The Big 12's a lot better than the Big Ten too. Which, I mean, the teams that are worth crap are bailing on the Big Ten too, and they're coming to the SEC. So I can't wait to see how the alignment works out too.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how that goes.
If Auburn and Alabama, do they head east or what? But man, if they do that, it's going to be a cakewalk in the West. I mean, it's going to be the same thing all over again.
Yeah, I feel like Auburn will definitely probably hop over. Maybe, I don't know who else you would bring unless it's Missouri or somebody like that. But I don't think they're going to stack. I don't think they're going to move.
really Missouri needs to go west. That's where they're at.
Yeah.
They're west. It doesn't make any sense that we've even got them, but
I
I
don't know.
think
Do you bring Arkansas? I mean, I don't.
no, they're
I mean,
further west.
they're still west too. So I'm not sure how that's all gonna line up. But I don't see them moving Bama to the east with Georgia and Tennessee and Florida. That's gonna stack that one side, and I just don't. I don't see it being good for the SEC to put
Well,
everybody on one side like that.
if it was me, if we're being honest, I probably would have kicked Vandy and Missouri out of the East, and I would have tried to pick up Florida State and Clemson. Is probably what I would have done, and send them east, and then we got Texas and Oklahoma in the West, and then really at that point it would have turned college football though into the AFC and the NFC pretty much. I mean, there would only been two real conferences left, but anyway.
But yeah, that yeah, we were on the Kentucky game. We got off on a little tangent, but
ADHD, man. There's going to be a lot.
The Kentucky game was definitely, I think it was an eye opener for a lot of people for Tennessee's defense. And coming into the game, everybody talked about how good Kentucky's offense was going to be, running the ball, and Will Levis is a first rounder. We heard that, and then once we beat them like we did, now everybody's Kentucky's not that good. They do that every time we beat somebody. Then they tear the other team down to make it not look as good as it was. But I don't care what anybody says. You see it all over the media. Everybody's saying it. Tennessee's one of the best football teams in the country, hands down. I don't care what anybody says.
I agree.
And if you'd have told me this time last year that this year we were going to be sitting right here, I would have laughed at you, and I bleed orange.
I would have laughed at you 3 weeks into the season.
It's mind blowing how much this team's improved in such little time under Heupel and that staff. I mean, it just goes to show you that he's completely changed that culture around. And hear what anybody else says, he can recruit too. So
yeah, he absolutely can. That's just going to keep getting better and keep getting better and better and better. And on top of that, the NIL helps. I mean, it really does. You hate to say it that way, but Nick Saban, do you think Jeremy Pruitt came up with a McDonald's bag full of cash? No, he didn't come up with that. He learned that somewhere. And, it's a learned behavior. He got it from somewhere, but nobody's going to tell on Nick. And I don't know. The NIL is going to level the playing field.
And it already has a lot.
It absolutely has.
Speaking of Nick Saban in Alabama, I seen when he went off on that where he's talking about how NIL was ruining it and he didn't like it. Well, I seen one of the media guys was talking about that he don't like it because now everybody can pay him.
Oh, exactly.
He's not just him.
Yeah.
Now everybody can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only reason that we figured out about they figured out about our McDonald's bags is because Jeremy Pruitt sucked. we had to find out what was up.
Cornbread.
I mean, that's exactly what it was. And the same thing would happen in Tuscaloosa. If they wanted to fire him tomorrow, they would come up with their McDonald's bags. But anyway, NIL got rid of all that crap. I really don't know. There's a legal term for it, but when, like, let's say that somebody is in jail on a charge in Tennessee, like they're sitting in prison. Well, if Tennessee legalizes whatever they're sitting in prison for, guess what? They get released. It's over because it's no longer against the law. I think that it's going to be the same thing with NIL. Well, what Tennessee was doing or did is now legal. 32 guys transferred out. None of those guys are left. They fired 8 coaches with cause, got rid of all of them. There's really not anything left to do. We reduced scholarships, and we're still #1 in the country. I mean,
we're playing with less people than anybody else.
Yes, and that's it just speaks even more to what Heupel did. But he said it when he got hired. He came here to chase championships, and here we are.
Like Rodney Garner said, you don't come to Tennessee just to play. You come to play for championships.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And I feel like we're on the right direction, and which leads us to the Georgia game.
Yeah.
One of the biggest games in at least since '98, and I believe you said earlier they called it the biggest game since 1940s.
I want to say something like that. But like ranking wise, technically you could put it up #1 versus #1. We could sit and debate that all day. Make a case for both teams. There's a couple other teams you can make a case for. Well, not really, but on paper you can. Not even there either. They suck too. But Clemson's the one that really bothers me, if I'm being honest.
I wouldn't put them in the top 4.
No, anybody else in the top 4, really the top 6, would beat them by 14 plus. And it's not even going to be close. You have a quarterback controversy every week. Get out of here. They're trash. Everybody knows they're trash. I did do a little spying on some Georgia sports radio today, and they made the statement that it's almost like Clemson's riding the ghost of championships past, and that's exactly what's happening. I don't know. We'll find out. Hopefully, somebody punches them in the mouth here in a few weeks, and we don't have to hear about it.
Maybe I think. They still got to play what? They got to play. They'll probably have to play North Carolina in the ACC championship.
They got to play South Carolina.
Yeah, they still got to play them too. So. Yeah. But anyway, enough about the ACC. We'll move on to this Georgia game. Like I said, a huge game. I'll let you take the lead on it, and we'll go from there.
Offense versus defense, defense versus offense. Both ways. Georgia's got a balanced offense that's scoring a lot of points. Got that terrible quarterback. I don't like him. Sorry, I've never been a Stetson Bennett fan. He's very, very inconsistent. I think he's got a lot of talent around him, but to me, the key.
Steady Eddie.
Do what?
Steady Eddie. He just does what he does, and that's it.
And that's it.
It works. So.
Yeah, and the dude won a national championship. Like you can't really argue it. But that's they're stacked. They've got more talent than we do. There's no doubt. But do they play as hard as we do? Do they scheme as well as we do? Kirby Smart is, in my opinion, probably the best defensive football mind in college football. Full disclosure, I know I said that about Banks earlier, being a little bit of a homer, but Kirby Smart is the man defensively. He's going to have a game plan. Somebody released a video earlier where you could hear Kirby just going nuts, telling him, "What is all this finger pointing?" He said, "That's all y'all want to do. Say it's his fault, it's your fault. It's never anybody's fault. You got to accept responsibility for what's going on here. None of you can cover. You suck." And that's people are posting it on Facebook like, "Oh, Georgia's terrible. Kirby knows it. He told them they suck." No, he's a coach that's doing what a coach does. He's trying to fire his team up. He does not accept anything less than perfection, and I don't expect them to play anything any less than that. They're going to come out and they're going to play their butts off, and they're going to do everything they can to beat us and to shut us up because everybody is feeding Tennessee that rat poison. Okay, and all they're doing is stealing one from Saban. All they're doing is giving Georgia billboard material for the locker room. It's going to be all over the freaking whiteboards. It's all over, posted everywhere. They're no good. They're slow. Between the hedges suck. Blah blah blah. That's all they're hearing all week. They're going to come in pissed off, and we got to hope like hell that our guys don't go out there and have heads this big, because if we do, we're going to be in trouble. But anyway, go ahead.
I think Heupel and the staff have done a tremendous job at keeping them here instead of
Absolutely.
here.
They got blinders on. Heupel's unbelievable. Like, he's so much more than I ever expected him to be, and that's just he's great, and I doubted him a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think anybody was overly excited. I think we were excited to have Danny White, but we wanted a big splash. We didn't get that. Everybody was trying to say that he was riding off Scott Frost's coattail at UCF, that they were steadily declining. They weren't. I mean, that.
And when we first made the hire, I was like, what? I wasn't overly excited by any means, but
Right.
I went back and I looked at his work at UCF. Then I went back and looked at his work at Mizzou in the SEC, and his numbers were insane at Mizzou as the offense coordinator.
Yeah.
So I knew his offense would work. I didn't know if we had the personnel to do it.
Well, I felt like I didn't expect us to have the personnel, because I felt like everybody left. Could you imagine?
That too.
Could you imagine if Eric Gray and Wanye and those guys were still here? I mean, but anyway, it is what it is. They wanted to leave. They needed to leave. They're out. I don't want to talk about them. Hey, how is Oklahoma doing? I hope Eric Gray's listening to this. I hope you're doing well, bud. What are y'all, like 2-6? Anyway, to me, the big thing tomorrow is Brock Bowers. The guy's unbelievable, and we do, like, there's no doubt that we've had some trouble against the pass. But again, I think that's because of the situation, what the scores have been. People are dropping dimes. We're not really wanting to give up the big play, but we're going to give you the short stuff over the middle. The one thing I think that we do that can put us in a bad spot, and it's one of the things that everybody loves, is walking the linebackers up. People are always walking up stunting, always, or it looks like they're going to stunt. They call that stemming. And the problem is we're walking two linebackers up a lot of times, where it's a straight line, almost looks like a punt block with two deep return men sometimes. That's not good, because they were doing it early on all the time. And it was almost every play. Everybody was lined up on the line of scrimmage. Well, here's the problem. If it is a pass play, okay, they've got to turn and they're already behind the ball to people that are faster than them anyway. So the linebackers were in bad positions. Your safety's over the top. They were having to cover a much larger area. And they were made to look like idiots a couple of times because of that. But, now you see more one linebacker walking down, stuff like that. I hope we don't do two linebackers walking down, because, again, that's going to be all day for Bowers. They're just going to hit him over and over and over if we do that. Now, I know he's smart enough to stop doing that if that becomes a thing. But, McCullough, how does he match up against Bowers? Because, I mean, that's that to me is like when Tennessee plays Kansas City on Sunday. What is Byard going to do against Kelsey? And it's really the only reason that we beat Kansas City as much as we do, because we've got their number. I think they've only beat us in the playoffs in the last 6 times we played. I think they're 1-5 against us since Andy Reid has been there, and it's because Byard neutralizes Kelsey. And McCullough's got to do that to Bowers tomorrow. And I think that we can do it. I mean, I really do. But what does Kirby have up his sleeve?
Yeah,
that to me is the big question.
Yeah, I don't know that we can just totally take him out of the game. I think we can contain him. We just don't need to let him make that big play. That's what we don't need.
Bro, he's fast.
Yes, he's very fast. That's what I'm saying. We just can't let him make that big play, get them going. I think the perfect situation for Tennessee would be to come out. We're probably getting the ball first, whether we win the toss or Georgia wins the toss. I think Georgia will defer.
Oh,
We need to go
absolutely.
down. We need to go down, score first, and would be huge if we could get a 3-and-out or something. Stop them on their first drive, get the ball back, try to go up 2 scores.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I don't think they're built for a shootout.
No, they're not. Do you think they double team high at first play?
If they do, that's fine. We'll go to Tillman.
I'm not so sure they'll come out 5 wide and just go, all right, boys, here it is. Come get it.
Chuck it up. They're down there somewhere.
Put the women and children in bed. We're airing this puppy out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like I said, I don't think Georgia's built for a shootout. So if we can get up 2 scores pretty quick, if it comes out and it ends up like that first quarter or so in that Alabama game, I don't think there's a chance for Georgia. And, I mean, I may be biased, but I just don't think they're built that way.
yeah, that's I agree with you. But the one thing that Coach Heupel's got to do is he has to continue running his offense. For the large portion of the beginning of the season, he'd get a 2-score lead and he'd go into cruise control. Up the middle, up the middle, up the middle, up the middle, 3-and-out. Up the middle, up the middle, up the middle, 3-and-out.
Yeah, we cannot
afford
to let off the pedal.
Do what?
Cannot afford to let off the pedal.
No, absolutely not.
If we got to score 70 on them, who would score 70 on them? I don't care. But don't stop doing what's working.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. Let's see. So the other factor tomorrow is the whole Vince Dooley thing, which you saw where he passed away, right?
Yes.
Which I think everybody knows that. I think everybody loved Vince, even if you weren't a Georgia fan. I mean, the guy was just a class act all the way around. Everybody says he's one of the best people you ever could have met. The reason we know that, obviously, is because, well, his time was before ours, but when Derek came here, a little bit of orange too, but his mom wouldn't though. Can you believe that? Derek's mom wouldn't wear orange, but did. But he was their head coach from '64 to '88, the athletic director from '79 to 2004, won national championship, 6 conference championships. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like the fact that he passed away last week. Especially with this being the first home game since. It's one of those things that just gives the guys a little bit more juice. And there's a lot riding on this game. And I hate the timing. I hate to be passed. But, it's just another dynamic to this game that keeps getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah. Well, tell me the story you were telling me earlier about the on the radio, the guy ripping Eric Ainge.
Oh my gosh, man! So he said that playing between the hedges was overrated. It was nothing like Neal. I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, just kind of made a poke. But he said that playing between the hedges, their fan base is lethargic. Pretty much, they sit there eating their crumpets and teas. And it's going to be the same guys in the stands as it was. Golly, I got the hiccups. It's weird. Probably because we're doing this thing at 11:48 at night. I got stuff in my eyes. I'm like, golly. But he said it's going to be the same people drinking their crumpets and tea and just kind of ripped them and said that it was nothing compared to Neyland. And this guy calls into his radio show and he goes, yeah, is this the radio show that's got that ex-Tennessee quarterback Eric Ainge? And he goes, maybe. Who's asking? Depends on who's asking. And he said, well, I was just letting you know that my grandson showed me what you had said about it. And I'm sick and tired of hearing your mouth and listening to you run your mouth. I'm so sick of the UT fan base. And dude is screaming at the top of his lungs. And I'm pretty sure at the end he was crying when he went, "Arr, arr, 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 go Dogs," and hung up the phone. I mean, they're losing their mind. They can't stand it that everybody's not bowing at Kirby's feet and talking about UGA and everything else. Well, I got news for you. The Blue Tick, shout out to Volunteer Traditions, by the way. The Blue Tick is far superior to the Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah. I wonder how long it takes, or if we see the coach fit tomorrow.
The coach fit?
Yeah, we've Saban nearly passed out. What's his name at Kentucky? Stoops. He was livid. It was hilarious. I love it. It frustrates these coaches so much.
All I can really see, because we sat about the 15-yard line, about 40 rows back. We were laughing and carrying on so much because the fans around us were losing their mind. Because we were actually in the Kentucky section, which made it a little bit better. But I don't know how that happened. Who thought it was a good idea to put me in that section?
What was it they wrote on they painted the rock, and what was it?
Oh, man.
Big Blue by 90 or Cats by 90 or something?
Cats by 90. You know those third birds ripped off the checkerboard, too. They do a blue checkerboard.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess imitation is the best form of flattery, but
I've been seeing on there's another Facebook group, and they always talk about Tennessee's Kentucky's daddy. So
yeah, well,
it's more of a grandfather now. I think though.
Yeah,
it's been so long.
Well, we can't really say a whole lot because we've kind of been in a slump this second half of our life, but
yeah.
But
we've been in a slump, but not against Kentucky. So
yeah, well,
we can still claim that.
That's true. I think they did whip us once, but when we were walking out of the stadium, somebody said something about wait till basketball season, and I was like, I don't think you want to do that either because I'm pretty sure since old Ricky's been there, we're like, man, I want to say it's something stupid like 7-3, 8-2.
Yeah, I don't think they've been much.
It's not anything, but anyway.
Man, what a time in Knoxville right now. Every sport, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, hey, did you see how many yards Levis had against us?
Was it 90, 98, something like
that? 98. What else was 98?
Yeah.
Vince? I think not.
And it might be 70 degrees outside, but it's feeling a lot like 98 right now. I'll tell you that.
Let's go. I'm telling you, man, I'm pumped up. Good stuff. Well, Drew, this has been fun, man.
Yeah, it's first one. We finally got it done.
Well, next time maybe we'll go live and let people chat with us a little bit.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. And again, like we said, it's been a long time coming, over a year pretty much. And man, the page has really took off, grown a lot here in the last month. We just reached 2,700 right before we got on here. So I think we're up about 1,000 in the last month. So we can't thank you guys enough for all the support you guys give us. And man, go on bonfire.com. I think we posted the links a few times. Get you some Vols Dawg shirts and any support that you give us that helps us further this. I mean, we're not professionals by any means, as you can tell. We're fans just like you guys. Bleed orange. We have seen the mountaintop in '98. We were here for it. We're old enough to know what it feels like to win.
That's true.
And it feels good to finally be back.
Yeah. Well, man, Vols Dawg. Go follow it on Facebook, Instagram.
Yes, go Instagram. We got Twitter, Facebook. We'll be posting as many videos as we possibly can, as our schedule will allow. We both got pretty young kids, so you guys know how that goes.
Yeah, pretty young. Knox, Nealon, Aubrey Payton. my kids' names.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. I have to have me another one so I can get a Tennessee-esque name.
there you go. I like it.
Yeah. Well, again, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, go Vols.